Now, more experienced Agile coaches have a more nuanced perspective. They know just how hard it is, and they know that Agile is not the answer to everything. And a mature perspective brings in other fields into the Agile space, like organizational development, professional change management, cognitive science, behavioral psychology, and all kinds of other things. A mature Agilist focuses on business agility, which is the goal of being agile, and not just to be agile, but also to get good outcomes for the business, right? Because that's at the end of the day, that's why we're there. Now, there are many problems that Agile addresses really well, and I've listed some of them here on this slide. And, let's remember that 20 years ago, when the Agile Manifesto came out and started to spread, it really did bring about useful changes in how software was being built at that time. Agile got people to realize that the waterfall style of projects, software projects, just really wasn't that great and wasn't leading to good outcomes. And they realized that it wasn't possible to design all the requirements up front. Agile argued for small teams that can work really quickly and be nimble rather than large teams, and built quality in from the beginning by testing early for both bugs and integration issues. So Agile brought a lot of value to the world of software development 20 years ago. Later, as the thinking evolved and changed and matured over time, some ideas took hold in the Agile community that actually were not that helpful. And actually, I'm not sure they were really all that Agile either. For one example is that all teams should be self-organizing. Well, what if a team isn't ready for that? Or what if the team simply lacks good leadership? Self-organization isn't necessarily going to solve that. Another thing that comes up in the Agile space is the sidelining of written communication in favor of live conversations and video chat or face-to-face chat, if anyone does that anymore. And this can be really problematic, especially when major technical decisions are not documented, but they took place during a meeting where decisions were made, but they weren't documented and shared widely. Or tech stacks aren't described fully enough for newcomers to figure out how to work with them. And what about all the frameworks? There's a whole lot of them. And I am a believer in the idea that all models are wrong and some models are useful. So I tend to be framework agnostic and look at them and see what's helpful in them and use what's going to be helpful for a particular case. But one problem with these frameworks is that they're not necessarily aligned with the Agile Manifesto or aligned with what is generally accepted as good practice in the Agile community. So in a way, sometimes parts of them anyway are not really Agile at all. And another problem with the frameworks is that they give people the impression that they're complete. That if you're a newcomer, right, and you're just starting out and somebody gives you this framework and you reorganize yourselves and you create all these roles that are listed and you give each role specific responsibilities and tasks and you follow the given process, the understanding and assumption people make is that it will be successful. And in truth, all the frameworks require some tailoring. None are perfect for any and every situation and organization. And the frameworks themselves will often say directly, you need to adjust this for your circumstances. You need to tailor it to what you're dealing with. And what I see happen, though, sometimes is people who are new to Agile, they assume that the frameworks are complete and they try to follow them really carefully, and then they're disappointed when they don't get good results.